Hi there, we're going to look at the file away values shortcode in depth, looking at the new CSV creator and editor. So let's start with the shortcode generator. We're going to go to CSV data table, and we're just going to, I just have some CSV files already in my files directory waiting for us. We don't have to specify a sub. If we specified a file name, let me show you how this works. If you specify a file name, that's the only CSV file it's going to show. If you don't specify a file name, then it's going to scan the directory or directories if you enable recursion here for all CSV files. And how many ever CSV files it finds, it's going to put in a drop down for you to choose from. But if you specify a specific file name, then it will only show that file. Now, like the other shortcodes, base directory and subdirectory will take dynamic paths. The FA user ID, FA username, FA first last, and FA user role, right? User role. So if you type in one of those or one or more of those dynamic codes in any combination with other characters in between them, it doesn't matter, then they will be dynamic based on the logged in user. Now the cool thing about the CSV shortcode is that this is true of the file name as well. So you can have base files, right, and then sub CSV / FA username, right? So that's going to be files / CSV / Tom Stark, and then you can have FA username underscore whatever the file's called. It can just be called that .csv, or it could be underscore datasheet. And you don't actually have to enter in .csv. As long as your file name is in lowercase CSV, it'll add it. It'll find it. But you can add it if you want to be safe, whatever. So this is going to replace FA username with my username in both of them if we do this. But I don't have anything on there like that. I'm just letting you know that it applies to the file name as well. Now, if you specify a file name, then obviously it's not going to scan the directory for all CSV files. It's only going to check to make sure the file you specified exists, and if it does, it'll put it on the page for you. So recursion, if you enable recursion but also specify a file name, you're wasting your time. Recursion will do nothing if you specify a file name. Now you can specify a file name and create that file by also specifying make new CSV. If you specify a file name and fill in the column headers here, so whatever you want to call your columns, column 1, comma, column 2, comma, whatever you want to call them, you fill those in and specify your file name. That's going to create a blank CSV for you with these columns, okay? And then you can edit it on the page. If the directory doesn't exist, you can enable that. So what you can do is FA username and then FA username .csv, and then make CSV whatever you want to call the headers. Has to have a headers in here, otherwise it's not going to create the file. So call 1, call 2, call 3, right? And then what's going to happen is it's going to, I'm going to go ahead and do this, and it's going to create this, because I have make directory enabled, it's going to create both the directory and the file with my username. So let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. Reload the page. And there it is, tomstark.csv. And so this is going to be in the subdirectory of files, Tom Stark, and then the CSV file is called tomstark.csv as well. So there you go. So that's how that works. Now, let's get rid of that and start again. So you can do that so that if you have a bunch of users that need spreadsheets and they're all supposed to start empty or whatever, you can just set both make directory and make CSV, and every time they hit the page, if the file doesn't already exist, it will create them for them. It won't overwrite it if it does exist, it'll only create it if it doesn't exist. Now, if you're not in editor mode, sorting is disabled by default. If you are in editor mode, it is enabled, hardwired. Okay? Make directory, paginate. Now, pagination has been updated, and it now only shows 5 page numbers at a time. It used to show the total number of page numbers. So if there was 100 page numbers, it would show all 100 in the footer of the table. It was hideous. Now it only shows 5 at a time. I fixed the third-party code that I've been using. Okay. Searchable, yeah, it's enabled by default. We can add a search label. So search data. A placeholder by default is going to say select CSV. It's for the drop-down. You can choose your read encoding and write encoding. When in doubt, just go with the default ISO. I mean, if you don't select it, that's what it's going to be. But UTF-8 would be the next most popular. PHP has issues with UTF-8, but not in terms of dealing with writing CSVs and reading CSVs. So you should be fine. Whatever you need, just try it out, see what works for you. Okay, so we can turn on recursive scan if we want to. And if we do that, we're actually going to see that tomstark.csv file in there because it's in a subdirectory that was just created. We're definitely going to turn on editor mode. If we don't turn on editor mode, then all they can do is read the CSV. And so that's useful for, like, if you're a teacher and you have students who are users on your site and you have vocabulary or information on CSV files that's unique to them or that's for them to look at, then you put your spreadsheet up and they go there and they can study or check the data or whatever, and you can keep it updated. But you don't want to enable editor if you don't want them editing it. So you can enable editor for yourself and show to administrator, and then have another shortcode where editor is not enabled, and then you would put hide from administrator, and then you wouldn't see the non-editor one and they wouldn't see the editor one. Okay? And let's pick a theme. Everything else, whatever. Okay. Let's do this. Alright, I'm going to reload the page here. And actually, I still got my get rid of that. My server's a little slow today. Nothing to do with file away. Let's stop and start again. There we go. That's how it's supposed to load that fast. Okay, so as you can see here, you got files Tom Stark CSV, because we're in recursive mode, so that's in the subdirectory of Tom Stark. And here you have your different CSV files. So you just choose the one you want, and it'll refresh the page, and you can begin editing. So we've got our URL parser here. You can download it, you can delete it, or you can create a brand new CSV file. So if you create a new CSV file, you specify the name. You don't have to do .csv, but you can if you want to. And then your column names, column separated. and then it'll create it for you and refresh the page and show you your new CSV file. Now, let me go ahead and show you a big one. I downloaded this from the internet. It's Sacramento Crime, January 2006. It's going to take probably about 20-30 seconds to load on the client side because we have pagination. Actually, we don't. Oh yeah, we do. We have paginate enabled, and so it's calculating the page numbers and stuff like that. And this is a very big CSV file. It's actually got 7,850 some rows in it. So it's going to take a few seconds to load, but once it does, here we go. So that wasn't too bad. Okay, so now as you can see, you're only seeing 5 page numbers at a time. Okay, it'll go up by 2 or 1. Now if you click to the end, you're going to see how many pages we're actually dealing with here. We've got 506 pages on this spreadsheet that we're looking at, and we can edit any row we want. So this is incorrect. It should be District 5, not 3. And saved. Alright, so we just edited a 7,000 whatever 500 or 850 row document in a couple of seconds. Now, when you right mouse click on a cell, you can insert a new row, and it'll always insert it after the row you're currently on. What it's actually doing when you're inserting a new row is it's putting it, technically it's putting it at the very bottom of the spreadsheet, but in here when I go ahead and put it where you are on the page because it's sortable anyway, so it's not going to matter where it puts it in the physical spreadsheet. You can delete the row, or you can always save a backup. So if you're about to make a bunch of changes, you can save a backup first, and it'll timestamp the backup, and then you can make your changes, and if you mess something up, you have your backup on the server. Okay, you can sort, you can search, all that sort of stuff. Now when you click up here in the column area, you have different options. You have rename column, so you can actually rename a column header, alright, and it'll base it on the one that you click on. So we could rename grid to loc, and it's going to refresh the page because it has to recalculate everything, so sorry to make you sit through this, but you get the idea. And that's pretty much it. You can edit, most of the time you're not going to be dealing with spreadsheets this giant, so everything loads much quicker, but this isn't too bad for a spreadsheet of this size. And you can pretty much do anything from editing existing to creating brand new ones and using them for file away or for displaying files or links or YouTube Vimeo videos or banners in your file away tables to whatever purpose you might have. I'm going to go ahead and delete this column here because it makes no sense. UCR NCIC code. I don't know what that means, so I don't like it. So I'm going to delete the column. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 columns currently. And coming right up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. There we go. That's how it works. We can go ahead and create a new one real quick. Whole new file. I'm not adding .csv. Call 1, call 6, 7, call to, I like chaos. There we go. There's our new file, and we can just go ahead and start editing whenever we feel like it. Do whatever we need to it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for your time.